All right, welcome to the review for Unit 5. In this unit, we learned two new forms of a linear function, point-slope form and standard form. We started by finding the intercepts, right? I always find the y-intercept first, and every y-intercept, the x-coordinate is 0, and that goes away, and we get y-intercept is 0, -10. Make sure you write it that way. If you just write -10, you're going to get no points. The x-intercept, you make y equals 0. Here we divide both sides by 5. X equals -2. The x-intercept is -2, 0. You write -2, you get no points. So -2, 0, 0, -10. And here is the line that contains those two intercepts. And it is that linear function which describes that line. Find the point on which the line which x equals -3. So 5 times -3 plus y equals -10. We add, because 5 times -3 is 15, so we're going to add 15 to both sides. Y equals 5 when x equals -3. That's not an intercept, right? That's just a random point. Right, be careful of that. So x equals -3, y equals 5. Yeah, my line wasn't so well drawn, but that point, -3, +5, is also on the line. Later, we'll do that. We'll write linear functions in function notation. First, let's practice finding our x and y intercepts. Y-intercepts, the x-coordinate equals 0. Divide both sides by -3. Y equals -3. The y-intercept is 0, -3. The x-intercept, y equals 0. And let me erase that. So we have y equaling to 0. Divide both sides by 2. X equals 9/2, which is usually fine, but to write an intercept, write 4/2 is 8 4/2. So, 8 is, 9/2 is 4. And so then this would be 4 1/2. I'm going too fast and making mistakes. 4 1/2 is 0. And so 4 1/2 is halfway between 4 and 5. And that is the graph of this linear function, right? We can find any point. We could put x is 1 in there and do the math and find the point where x is 1. It's got some fractions in it. It's right there, 1 something, right? The reason we find the intercepts is because of the zeros. It's the fastest points to find. That's the only reason. So there's real-world functions that work like this. The school wants to give away t-shirts to their students and has exactly $600 to spend. All right? And there are two rates. There's a rate of $15 per heavyweight t-shirt and a rate of $12 for cheap t-shirts. And we're going to spend exactly $600. So we've written a linear function there in standard form, and now we're going to plot that linear function. How are we going to do that? We're going to find the intercepts. If you make h equal to 0, right, then you get 12c equals 600. Divide by 12. 60 divided by 12 is 5, so 600 divided by 12 is 50. So when h is 0, c is 50, right, down there. And then I did this backwards, but it's fine. And then if c is 0, right, we get this. That crosses out. Divide both sides by 15. And h equals 15 and 60 goes 4, so h equals 4d. Right there. Those are our intercepts. No arrows here because why? Because no negative numbers, right? And there are all the combinations where you'll spend exactly $600. So 25 cheap, right? 25 of the cheap shirts. Let's see what, well, I'll just write it this way. 25 of the cheap, and seems like it goes with 20 of the heavyweights. Let's just double check the math. So 15H plus 12 times 25 equals 600. Well, 10 times 25 is 250, so 12 times 25 is 300. So I subtract 300 from both sides. 15H equals 600 minus 300 is 300. Divide both sides by 15. 30 divided by 15 is 2. Yeah, what goes with 25 cheap is 20 heavyweight. You should be able to look at those and know what form each one is in. If it's y by itself, that is called slope-intercept form. If it's got a, x, and y on the same side, then it's in standard form. Convert the equation in standard form into slope-intercept. So the one in standard form, so we have 8x plus y equals -9. We got to get y by itself, so we subtract 8x, realizing we want it to look like that. And look, we made the other equation. In fact, they were the same line. Convert the equation in slope-intercept into standard, all right? So we know it's going to look like the other one, but let's just show the work. Right? We add 8x to both sides, realizing we want the x term first because it's ax plus by equals c, and you get y equal 8x plus y equals -9. Do the equations graph the same line? Yes, there are two forms of the same linear function. So we're going to convert that into one of those. You could clear the fraction first, but I prefer to get -1/4 x on both sides. Realizing we want x first, we're going to write it that way, equals 2. Now I'm going to clear my fraction by multiplying. I'm going to get a positive x here, because look, it's positive x everywhere here. So I'm going to multiply both entire sides by -4. The negatives cancel out, the 4's cancel out, I get x. -4 times y minus 4y equals -8. And it's b. All right, so the slope, this is what form? Point slope. You better know that. So that's point slope, and you know because it's y minus y sub 1 equals m parentheses x minus x sub 1. So the slope is always right there. It is -3/7. By looking at now, the formula has minus in it. So the point we know is x is -14 because of that plus, and y is 5. We know 1 point on the line at least by looking at it. Write an equation in point slope form for a line with a slope of -6 and passing through the point 12, -2. So it would be y minus y sub 1. So it's y plus 2. Slope is -6. You need parentheses on that side, x minus 12. And now, that's point slope form. You better read the test, because if it says slope-intercept, you have more work to do. Also, though, if it says point slope, and now you do more work, you're losing all the points, because you don't know the names of the forms. This is point slope. And so you want it in point slope form. Okay, so you have to find the slope first. We're going to subtract our y coordinates, then subtract our x coordinates. So we can, let's do 2 minus -5, that's 7. And then -4 minus -6, that's -4 plus 6, that's 2. So the slope is 7/2. I can use either one. So this would be y plus 5 equals 7/2 times x plus 6. There are actually two right answers, because I also could do y minus 2 equals 7/2 x plus 4. And if I convert those to slope-intercept, they convert to the exact same equation. Okay, so let's prove that. I'm only going to do it once. But y plus 5 equals 7/2. I'm going to do the distributive property. 7/2 x 7 halves times 6 is 21. Subtract 5 from both sides. Y equals 7 halves x plus 16. All right, I'll do the other one just to make sure, show you that they make the same one. Distributive property, you get y minus 2 equals 7 halves x. 7 halves times 4, right, is 14, right? Add 2 to both sides. Yep, you get the same one. Y equals 7 halves x plus 16. Right? So from here, in a table, it's the same thing. You find the slope, subtract your y's, subtract your x's in the same order. 10 minus 3 is 7 over 1. The slope here is 7. Use any point there. All right, now, there are two methods at this point because it doesn't say how to do it, right? The point slope method. You take the 7 and you put it in with this. Y minus 3 equals 7 times x minus 1. You do distributive property. Y minus 3 equals 7x minus 7. Add 3 to both sides. Y equals 7x minus 4. The y equals mx plus b method. You do, since you have choice here, right, and we're going for slope-intercept, you can do y equals 7x plus b. Use the same point, or any point. Y is 3. 7 times 1, subtract 7 from both sides. B is negative 4. Since B is negative 4 and the slope is 7, same equation. Same thing here. Find the slope. Remember that your y's that you need for the top are on the bottom. So 7 minus 5, 2 minus 3, because I started with 7. So I get 2 over negative 1, or negative 2 for the slope. Okay, for point slope, you do, I'll pick the first point. Yeah, I'll pick the 7 too. So y minus 7 equals negative 2 times x minus 2. Y minus 7 equals negative 2x plus 4. Add 7 to both sides. Y equals negative 2x plus 11. You don't have to do it both ways, but y equals negative 2x plus b. Pick the same point. 7 equals negative 2 times times positive 2. This is a positive 2 up there. Plus b. So 7 equals negative 4 plus b. Add 4 to both sides. B is 11. Slope is negative 2. Same equation. Real world. So we're going to use C and R. So we're going to need an equation in function notation. C of R equals. You still have to find the slope, right? The bottom. The y is always on the bottom. The x is on the top on these. So 33 minus 25 over 12 minus 8. 8 over 4. All right, so these rides cost $2 per ride. And we have to get it in slope-intercept. So I'm just going to use, when it's a real world, I absolutely use y equals mx plus b. It just makes way more sense to me. So then I'm going to use the 25 where y goes, and the 8 where x goes, right? Because if you graph this, r would be where x goes, cost would be there. And 2 times 8 is 16, so I subtract 16 from both sides. 9, right, borrowing, 9 equals b. All right, so C of R equals 2R plus 9. It's $9 to get in and $2 per ride. Find C at 21. C of 21, if you went on 21 rides, it's 2 times 21 plus 9, or 42 plus 9, which is $51, right? Did I say it was dollars anywhere? I should have. Well, it's 51 something. All right, we're going to find the x and y intercepts. Remember, we don't always consider that standard form because there's a negative there, but that doesn't really matter here. For a y-intercept, the x coordinate is 0. In this one, you're going to divide both sides by negative 1, and y equals 7, so the y-intercept is 0, 7. The x-intercept, make y equal to 0. And divide both sides by negative 2, and x equals 7 halves, so the x-intercept is 3.5. 0, right? Because 6/2 is 3. So slope-intercept form. So all right, so we have a slope and we have a point. So we're using y plus 2 equals -3 times x minus 4. But you're not allowed to leave it that way because it says slope-intercept form. So we're doing distributive property, -3x plus 12, and we're subtracting 2, and we get y equals -3x plus 10. Real world function, we're going to find the pay as a function of hours. All right, the pay, if we're graphing this, is the y, the h is the hours, the time is always the x on these, by the way, if you haven't figured that out. All right, so we're going to be subtracting 130 minus 70 for our y values for slope, and 4 minus 2, we get 60 over 2. All right, so this guy's getting paid $30 per hour. So P of H equals 30H plus now we need a y-intercept. How do we do that? Y equals mx plus b. So y equals 30x plus b. Pick a point. I'll use 70 and 2. Right? 70 equals 30 times 2 plus b. 30 times 2 is 60. Subtract 60 from both sides. 10 equals b. So it is P of H equals 30H plus 10. He gets paid $30 per hour plus just $10 for showing up. That's ridiculously cheap. In reality, it's much more. Okay. Write and plot a linear function for the height of a burning candle. Okay. So at 2 hours, right, at 2 hours, it's at 11. It's right there. At 4 hours, it's way down here at 3, right, because we're going down, right? It's going down. So let's go find this y-intercept. Okay, first we're going to need to find the slope. Now the truth is you might be able to figure it out from the graph. That looks like it might be it, but it's way faster to do the math. So we'll subtract our y's, which are 11 minus 3. Subtract our x's, 2 minus 4. 11 minus 3 is 8. 2 minus 4 is -2. Slope is -4. We're going down 4 inches per hour. So did I have it right? 1, 2, 3. No, I was off by 1. So yeah, so it's down, right? Down, right? Because each one of these, it's down 4. Let me clean that up. Needs a little cleaning up. Okay, so we're going down 4 inches per hour, and then y equals -4x plus b. You pick any of the points. In this, I'm going to pick 11 equals -4 times. Ooh, I messed up. No, I didn't. The height goes here. The height is 11. All right, so -4 times 2. I almost thought I messed up there. So 11 equals -8 plus b. Add 8 to both sides. And b was 21. So it started off the graph. What is it? 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. It started way up here at 21. And then we're saying it's, let's say the height. Oh, I have h of h. But h of h equals -4h plus 21. Let's see if that makes sense. At 2 hours, it was 11. At 4 hours, -16. No, I have a mistake somewhere. I have a mistake. Oh, it's 19. 11 plus 8 is 19. Thank you. That's why you check your work. 11. I knew something was wrong because I double checked the math. Did -4 times 3 equal 4? No, it didn't. Okay, so I have to fix that. So let me fix that and fix that. This is how you check your work. So this was 19 and this is 19, and that makes more sense because I didn't think I had it off the graph. So it's 19 there, and so we're going 1, 2, 3, 4 and over 1. 1, 2, 3, 4 and over 1, and it goes down like that. 1, 2, 3, 4 and over 1. 1, 2, 3, 4 and over 1, and then before even 5 hours, it gets down to 0. Okay, and we are done. Good luck on the test.